The NFL draft is 30 days away, folks. And of course, speculation, trade ideas, and everything is running amok this time of year. We're going to be talking about Todd McShay, talks about the Lions' options at 2. Could the Lions trade out, or does it look grim? We're going to talk about Daniel Jeremiah giving a bold trade move for the Lions to move up in the draft. And I'm going to talk about the Lions, Carolina Panthers. Could they make a move, trade option with the second pick, and TJ Hockenson. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a real sound and smart idea to take your head, stick it in a wasp nest, and move it all around, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because we took all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. As sometimes being a Lions fan, you can get stung. Also, make sure you take that like button with you and let that bad boy get killed. Let's get into today's Lions trade rumors, options, and everything going forward. TJ Hockenson is a talk regarding our football team, because Brad Holmes talked about him getting that fifth-year option, and that we are going to do it because TJ Hockenson is a piece of this team, not just now, but going forward. TJ Hockenson has been injured the last couple of years, but he is a threat. He is a playmaker for the Lions, and he's young as well. And when you spend the draft cap we did to get him early on in a first round, you want to keep him, and that's what Brad Holmes is going to do. We are going to pick up his fifth-year option when that does take place, and I suspect that Brad Holmes is going to lock him up for the long haul and for a contract extension. I'm going to assume it's going to be a big one for sure, and I suspect they will do the same thing with Amani Oruwariye, the Lions cornerback. But before we get into the rest of this video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. Sting it up. Make that bad boy get crushed. Let's get to 400 likes in this video. With the amount of people watching it, I think we definitely can get done. The more likes we get, the more chance that it can get out there. Todd McShay, he talked about the Detroit Lions and the Lions potentially trading out of the second pick. He actually gave a grim little talk about it. He stated here that, "I'll be surprised if Detroit got a legitimate, respectable offer to move out of that number 2 spot," McShay said. "If they did, I would jump at it. Because it's the same player you're going to get at 3, 4, or 5 who's going to wind up taking at 2 anyways. Especially that big need at offensive tackle." I kind of agree here with Todd McShay. I think it is going to be difficult for the Detroit Lions to try to move out of 2. We don't have that quarterback that generally you have in drafts where teams are really vying to get to. We don't have that type of draft this year that just seems to be the guy to go to get. But with that said, there always is teams trying to acquire legitimate top-tier talent. We've already heard rumors that the New York Jets and the New York Giants are competing to get an elite talent. I'm going to assume it's one of the tackles, Ike Mukwanwu or Evan Neal. They want to secure that bona fide piece for their offensive line, for their young quarterbacks. And, hey, a team could jump up to get it. But are you going to get the same value this year that you probably would have gotten years past? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be the same value. You're not going to get a massive ransom for generally what you would get in other years. And there's also options with the quarterback position. To me, there is 2 teams, one specifically, that must get a quarterback in this year's draft, the Carolina Panthers, and I think the Atlanta Falcons are looking to get a quarterback as well. Do you really believe that the quarterback that they got right now, because they traded away Matt Ryan, do you think that's the future? I don't think so. I'm sure they would love to get a young quarterback. And there's 2 options for both these teams, Malik Willis and obviously the small hams himself, Kenny Pickett. Those 2 are probably the closest to go, early on in the first round if teams vie. And it only takes one team to trade up. We know this. All it takes is one team, and Quarterbacks are something that teams will overdraft for, and every year it happens. Teams overdraft. So all it takes is one, an overdraft. We've seen it in years past. So I do think it's possible that that can occur. Daniel Jeremiah gave an interesting trade option for the Detroit Lions, and we're going to go over this, and I think it's kind of wacky a little bit here. We're going to get into it here. He says the Lions are going to get right up in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who pick at 20. Jeremiah said, let's say you're a Lions fan. Let's say you get Aiden Hutchinson with the second pick. Come back in this move and get Malik Willis. And, oh, by the way, you still have pick 34 at the beginning of the second round. If you want to move back from that slot, you'll have an opportunity to do so. I tell you what, if the Detroit Lions traded up for Malik Willis from 32, I may have a problem with that. I think it's really important for the Detroit Lions to just sit at the picks that we are at. Sit at the picks. Trade out if need be. I'd love to trade out at 2, trade out even at 32. But trading up is something I don't think would be a smart move for the Detroit Lions. I don't believe it's smart. We still have a lot of pieces that we must get for the Lions. We still have a lot of players to fill out on this team. We're talking safety, linebacker, wide receiver, depth, yes, quarterback. Do you want to give up pieces to get a quarterback? And you're probably going to have to give up next year's probably Rams first round pick to trade up from 32 to 19 to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not wanting to do that. And you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, there you got 3 first-round picks. So I'm not wanting to do that. Let me know in the comment section if you would like to do that by simple trading out of 32, going up, and getting Malik Willis. Let me know if you do. Y for yes, N for no. That will be the big comment of this video. Trading up. This is something we don't really talk about a whole lot because I'm not a fan of the trade-up scenario. The Detroit Lions had a mock draft done by Fan Nation. It was a, three picks, the first 3 picks of the Detroit Lions, the 2 first and the second. And I'm going to talk about this mock draft. I think it's actually realistic and somewhat likely, in my opinion. And it may not be the exact player that you're going to get, but at least for the positions. Now, Fan Nation has the Detroit Lions taking Trayvon Walker with the second pick in the draft. I still have a little bit of reserve about Trayvon Walker. I'm not fully invested thinking that he could be the guy, but I totally can understand it if they think Kayvon Thibodeau is not a Dan Campbell type of guy. If they believe he's not fully invested in the NFL and you're wanting to go edge, he's probably the best next option really to field upon that defensive line. And he's really good at stopping the run, and that is something that we've had major issues with the Detroit Lions for many, many years. Totally get it. Option there. I love his second pick, and that would be at 32, and that's Jakeem Brisker, the safety. Definitely needs safety help, and if he's sitting there, the Detroit Lions need to get him, in my opinion, or if there's another safety that falls too. But we need to get safety. Jakeem Brisker would help out the Lions' back end. It would solidify a position of need. I approve of this. And, of course, Christian Watson at 34, the wide receiver who's dynamic. Now, if he didn't get injured, he'd probably be the number 1, number 2 wide receiver in this year's draft because this guy has massive potential, big body frame, everything about it, exactly what the Detroit Lions need. So, and to me, this Fan Nation mock draft is very, very good. I really do like it. I think it is something that could potentially happen. Very, very well could be. What also should happen is you guys go into Lions Nation Unite, lionsnationunite.com, download the app made by Herman Moore for fans. Very good app. Also, add me and follow me on there. I got 338 followers right now. I drop videos on there. That's not generally on YouTube. Let's get to 350. So follow me on Lions Nation Unite. And you can make sure you go ahead and follow them on Twitter as well as add them on YouTube channel. Now, here's a trade idea that I came up with. I think would be a smart idea for the Detroit Lions. Just like we said earlier in this video, there is a team that the Detroit Lions could trade with, and I think are doing everything they can to get the quarterback of the future, and that's the Carolina Panthers. They must get a quarterback, and they have to, because if they don't, Matt Rule in trouble. You know, their general manager talked about how they want a quarterback. They need a quarterback. They definitely do. And so I came up with a trade idea, and here would be the trade option for me and the Detroit Lions and Carolina Panthers here. The Detroit Lions trade the second pick to the Carolina Panthers, so they get the second pick. The Lions get pick 6. Now, we're probably going to get the same player you're going to get at 2 at 6. Keep that in mind. The Panthers don't have a whole lot of picks in this year's draft, but they got round 4 pick 137. We don't have a 4th-round pick, so we get that selection. And the most important part of this trade is getting the 2023 first-round pick of the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are probably not going to be good next year, so that means the Detroit Lions would have 3 first-round picks. To be able to get the quarterback of the future if Jared Goff doesn't work out next year, you would have 3 first-round picks. If you want, you could probably jump up to the first overall pick. And 2 of them would probably be a top 10 pick, Lions as well as the Carolina Panthers. I would love this trade, and if there's one team the Lions could get a deal done, it'd be with the Carolina Panthers. Grade this trade A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know where you trade out, what the farthest you guys would trade out to. All the way from 3 to 31, how far would you trade out? I don't want to go past the top 10. Folks, in the upcoming videos, we got the mailbag segment tomorrow. It's going to be a good video from the questions that you guys had on the One Pride podcast. We'll talk about that. Breaking news, anytime something breaks, we're definitely going to be putting that video out there. And the One Pride podcast every single Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you guys are there for the show. With that said, folks, adios.